will.i.am, right now, there are lots of artists in particular, but people in general who think AI is a threat to their future and their livelihoods. You have taken a totally different view, and you've been an enthusiast and an investor in AI for a very long time. What's your message to people who think AI is essentially a threat?
AI is a threat. It is. That's not. It's a threat to a lot of things, primarily because lack of regulations and governance. But as far as for what I was born to do, create, it's not a threat to that. Nothing that creates awesomeness should hinder someone's creativity to contribute to awesomeness. Prince was one of the most incredible musicians in the world. His awesomeness did not daunt me to never want to write a song because Prince was that awesome. He inspired me to want to make music, as did Michael Jackson. Do I create at the level as Prince and Michael Jackson? No. I make music because it's a rinse for my anguish, my joy, my worries, my stresses, and I write about that. I don't care how awesome AI is. It's not going to do the things I need to do for me. If AI was an awesome yoga teacher or an awesome, it did Pilates, I still need to stretch myself. So I still need to create myself. So if people are worried that, it's doing awesome stuff,
So do you think AI now is getting to the point where it is as creative as a human being?
Well, first let's ask the question, what is creativity? Is creative like regurgitating imagination? If that's the case, no, it's not as good as human beings, because as of now, it's just regurgitation of imagination. It's not imagining anything new yet.
Do you think it will?
Yeah, it will. But once again,
Yeah, even that isn't a threat to individual creativity.
No, because humans will always, okay, this is a bad metaphor, but we looked at a dragonfly and we're like, wow, we marveled at it, the way it took off. And then we made a helicopter. We looked at eagles. We looked at hawks and when they dive. We made jet fighter planes. We saw whales and dolphins and made submarines. Humans are pretty fantastic. Nothing, I don't care how big of an elephant it is, did that scare our ancestors? Oh, let's get up out of here because the elephant's huge? No. Last time I checked, when we went anywhere near the forest, we don't really worry about bears as we used to, or mountain lions. We're pretty awesome. So at what point in time do we become fearful over things now that we created? I think if anything, we should be even more propelled to be ultra creative. At this point in time, we throw our imagination at hyperspeed. We don't slow down. No animal, the cheetah didn't tell us to slow down, it told us to speed up. A horse didn't say to be jealous because it's muscular. We made horsepower cars. So at this point in time, we're supposed to just choose to select to shrivel and tail between our legs? Nah, bruh, not me.
Because what a lot of artists, and Paul McCartney and Sting and people like that have talked about this is the copyright essential.
That's why I started off by saying it's regulations
yeah.
and lack of governance that we should be worried about, not the tool or tech.
So do you worry about your work being fed into AI and copied or regurgitated or twisted without your say-so, without you getting any of the money back from that? Do you think that needs to be stopped?
Ask the question, hey, do you worry about your songs on DSPs and you're not getting money? Hey, do you worry about your music on social media compared to how it was with radio stations and record stores back in the day? That's that one. We haven't even got over this one. So The concern is this new renaissance going to mimic this current one that we're in where artists did not get protected? That one. But that one hasn't come yet. Let's get this one right. We're worrying about a problem that's not here when we haven't even solved the problem that is here. That is social media, DSPs, lack of regulation and governance on data privacy and practices on social media. Intelligent media is not here yet. It's barely sticking its head out. We are full, shoulder deep, sometimes to some people, eyebrow deep, swimming in this freaking vast social media and no compensation to the creative the way it was when Lionel Richie got rich.
You have invested a lot in young people,
Mm-hmm.
in teaching technology and robotics and AI. I mean, what have you learned in the years you've been doing that about what works and what's good for young people?
I learned that when we started our robotics program in 2008 and 9, that was the right path to take, because now we live in a highly technological world, and kids from the inner city, especially the ones that we provided a pathway to, have the credentials and the skills to not only fill jobs that are needed, but create industries of tomorrow with the skills that they have. We've sent kids to Dartmouth, to Brown, to Stanford, USC, Georgetown. We have some pretty awesome scholars. And these are all kids that were quote unquote not the usual candidate. They got left behind. They didn't get the investment due to zoning. The teachers didn't get paid what they should be getting paid. The configuration on what is good to eat in those neighborhoods is just junk food, check cashing because financial literacy wasn't prepared to them. Strip malls, strip clubs right next to the elementary school, junior high school. It's just bad configuration of zoning and city planning. And so we went there and put a robotics, computer science, and college track program in the neighborhood that I come from. Now we serve about 15,000 students. And what you learn is we're capable. And if data is gold, let's educate folks on the power of data and educate folks on how to train data, write algorithms, and build the technology and industries of tomorrow by giving them the skill sets and mentors now.
No, more broadly, I mean, you're an active citizen. You've been involved in, you supported Obama, you supported Harris, you warned over many years about what the dangers you saw in Donald Trump. How do you think it's going now for America?
What? That's a pretty crazy segue. How do I think it's going?
We've got a lot of cramming a lot.
Hey, I'm gonna call you Cranberry, because you cram a lot of stuff in. Very well. So get Cranberry. Anyways, so how I think it's going? The same way you think it's going. That's why you asked the question. Did you see the car sale?
Yeah. Well, you were an early investor in Tesla, weren't you? I mean, do you still drive your Tesla?
Yeah, that car sale that was a Saturday Night Live skit. It's hilarious. The only thing I could do right now is just laugh, because I want to go down the path of just too much negative stuff. So I want to put my mind on the things where I could solve problems on, my neighborhood and the community, getting these kids up to speed. I want to be solution oriented and putting my mind on areas where I can actually solve problems. I can't solve that one, so there's no need for me to put my mind there.
But what's your view on Tesla? Because you were a big believer in that project. I guess before Elon Musk, but I mean Elon Musk was a big part of it.
Yeah,
and he's kind of changed in his public persona, certainly.
One thing I could say is Tesla's had its valleys and its highs. From the beginning, he saved out of bankruptcy in the past. I invested in around 2007. That's right before he took over the company. But yeah, we live in a very delicate world. And when you put yourself out there like that, it affects everything. So your attention's got to be, sound. Everything should be thumbs up. You got to think about everybody, not just the few, because the many will come. And like I said, solution oriented. It's a lot of problems out there.
Focus on the positive, not the negative.
Focus on what you can solve. There's so many problems that we could talk about.
But there's a lot of new ones now, aren't there? Because of what's happening.
There's a lot of old ones that haven't been solved, like Congo. Let's talk about that one. We're on air. A lot of things that are coming there, powering that computer, powering these things. And those are problems that no one addresses because they're not, they don't really generate ads. And here we are on a television station, and after this, we're gonna be right back after the break. And we're gonna sell stuff.
Well, right after this, actually, I've got a documentary about Sudan.
Yeah.
And about the famine there.
That's what,
and that's
there's a lot of problems that we could talk about.
And that is also an issue that America is not engaged in. There are 3 big wars in this world.
Yeah.
Gaza, Ukraine, and Sudan, and that's the one no one talks about.
Yep. And, I like to aim my network and ability to be of service on things that I could actually put my hands on and see results, because you could get dizzy, and you could be like, your light could be dimmed. And I don't want my light being dimmed. I want to go out there, meet folks that need some encouraging, some mentorship, inspire them that even though it's dark, you have a light, you could shine that. I come from a pretty bad neighborhood, and that light should have been dimmed a long time ago. If I was able to get out of that, there's other things to, if you're in a maze, the whole premise is to get out of it, and then you look back and be like, wow, that was amazing. But there's no need to panic while you're in the maze.
Do you feel you're out of the maze?
Who? Me or we?
You.
This is a we, bro. Not a me. Just turn that M up. It's a we.
I mean, we definitely are not.
We are not. But let's get out together.
will.i.am, thank you very much indeed.
Thanks.